In a season full of close games and heartbreaking finishes, Arizona finally finishes on top. For DailyWildcat.com, this is Tim Kosh reporting live from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, where the Arizona Wildcats have just defeated the USC Trojans 21-17.
Well, with such a big, hopefully bowl, the Holiday Bowl on the line, we can finish anywhere from second to sixth. That was a big thing for us. Our kids understood it. They understood what was at stake, and just really kind of did what they did all year. That's the thing. I'm so impressed with their coaches and our players and our leadership. To say we've been like this all year.
Playing here in one of the most historical venues in the history of college football, Arizona had one goal and one goal only. Take it to the fourth quarter in a close game and come out on top. Arizona played well in the first half and even better in the second half defensively, but the offense struggled a little bit. But unlike in the last few games on the road where Arizona would lose on a free play, it came down to one thing. No magic potion, no mathematical formula, just make plays and win a football game.
It's not any magic formula. You got to mix things up, but it really comes down to making plays. I always say that, and I tell the players that all the time. A lot of times there's no magic formula. When there's competitive plays out there, you either make them or you don't.
Arizona led 7-0 and then 14-7, but then it found itself down 17-14, trailing for the first time in the game. With under 5 minutes to go, Arizona started a drive, just like, again, they did in the other two road games, except this time they finished on top. Nick Foles had a running play called in the huddle, but checked to a passing play, hitting Jerron Kreiner on the left side on a fade for the game-winning touchdown. It was a play that offensive coordinator Sonny Dykes says made the season.
We had a run call, and we got a certain look, we were going to check a pass, and then he did a good job of giving the guy a fade. They pressed us, and that's why it was part of the reason it was so hard in the second half. They got in our face a little bit more and tried to press us and contest balls more than they did in the first half, and it made it difficult, but also gave us a chance to make a big play.
To win this game on the road at one of the most hallowed schools in the history of college football is huge, especially considering this is the first time the Wildcats have won in the Mike Stoops era. That makes it all the more better for these Wildcats.
This is huge for us, first time we beat them, 7, 8 years, first time in the Stoops era, puts us in a great spot in the Pac-10, going to a great bowl, there's just so many great things about this win, especially coming over here on the road to the Coliseum against USC, just too many great things about this win, you can't name them all.
We're going to open it up here. To my left is Brian Kimball and Bobby Stover, fellow Daily Wildcat writers. Again, here at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where the Wildcats have just defeated USC 21-17. Brian, what did you see in the game today?
Well, they stepped up big when they needed to. In the first half, there was a huge third down play. Bug Wright jumped up and came down with a great conversion, setting up their first touchdown. And then obviously at the end of the game, they came up when they needed to. Jerron Kreiner with the game-winning touchdown catch, and then the defense really stepped up at the end and held USC down.
You're right, and I think the mention of Bug Wright was huge. He had 2 big catches on the second touchdown drive for Arizona that really kept them in the game. And then, of course, Nick Foles going to Jerron Kreiner at the end. Bobby, what did you think about the offense and just how clutch they were at the end of the game?
They did a really good job coming out of that. The third quarter, they only had 8 yards total until about a minute left in that quarter, so that really spoke volumes that they were able to overcome that, come back late in the fourth quarter and sort of get over that barrier. A lot of questions were asked, what is it like for you guys to finally knock down that wall? They've had a lot of those close games where they've sort of failed in the second half and then overcome it, but not really gotten quite over that hump and won the game. Today they really did that in the biggest arena, in the Pac-10, so really good for them and really impressive, I think, for this team as a whole.
This game and this season really speaks to how well Arizona has progressed through the Mike Stoops regime. So much heartbreak, so much defeat, in just fashion that's almost unimaginable. And then to come here in a place where nobody realistically expected them to win, it's impressive. And Brian, I'm curious, you've been here. What have you seen from Stoops and just the path that the program has gone from his beginning?
Well, he started off, he had a reputation for being a little bit of a yeller and a shouter on the sideline. Last year, he said that he had finally been able to calm down a little bit, and it looks like the team, took after that as an example. And they only had, like Bobby said, about 20 yards going into that last drive, and when the game's on the line, they marched downfield 80 yards against one of the best defenses in the Pac-10, and they really just got the job done when they needed to. And I think that's a testament to Mike and Mark Stoops.
And I think win or lose in the bowl game, Arizona made a statement this year, and this season was a huge step forward. Bobby, I'm curious, do you see this year as a one-time wonder, or do you think Arizona is on the rise and here to stay?
I think this team is on the rise. As we saw last year, they took a huge step even from then. First bowl game in 10 years, now Holiday Bowl, most likely. This is a huge step up. I asked John Kreiner after the game, what does this mean as a player to really see this program, reach a peak to this point? And he said, what would it be like to really, if someone asked you what it was like to rewrite history, he compared this to really being, I think all the players in the locker room really feel they did something special. I think the way Mike Stoops has things rolling, even if Mark Stoops happens to leave the program, I think they are on the way up. And I think a lot of these players are going to be pretty pumped to come back next year and compete for that Rose Bowl final.
And you mentioned Mark Stoops. There's rumors that he might get a head coaching gig somewhere at the Division I AA level. Whether or not he decides to go remains to be seen. But before that happens, Arizona's going to play a Rose Bowl game. A bowl game. What game they'll play, we don't know. Who they'll play, we don't know. It's believed it'll be the Holiday Bowl. We'll find out Sunday afternoon. Guys, you think with this team, the momentum they're taking, we're going to both of you. Do you think Arizona can win this bowl game realistically?
Yeah, it looks like they're probably going to play Nebraska if Nebraska does fall to Texas in the Big 12 title game. Nebraska has a great defense, but with the confidence that they're going to be able to get from beating USC, I think the sky's really the limit.
Do you agree, Bobby?
I think I agree. I think this team can really beat anybody. I got to admit, honestly, coming into this game, I had my doubts that they would. I think all of us did a little bit, that they would be able to pull off USC, beating them in their own house. I mean, this is a pretty majestic place for college football. So even though it's a whole different conference, different conferences have different styles of play, but I think, this Pac-10 has been spoken of as the top conference in the country, so why not be able to beat a good team in the Big 12?
Arizona is on the way up. They just defeated USC, the poster child of the Pac-10 conference, on their own turf. We'll see how they do in the bowl game. We'll keep you updated on DailyWildcat.com about Arizona's bowl scenarios, but for now, we're going to say goodbye after Arizona's 21-17 win against USC. For Bobby Stover, Brian Kimball, this is Tim Kosh, and we'll see you soon.